Hello to all of my peeps. It's so good to see you here today from my chair, episode 209. As promised, this was the special guest edition. And we'll do several of these actually. I'm super excited about that. But I'd like to introduce to you and welcome one of my dear friends. I've given you a title. This is Mrs. Ann Reichert. I'll call her Miss Reichert. I'll call her Ann, just both of those. She doesn't mind that. But she has a very unique, very special title in my life. I've got lots of peeps. I do. And they all perform all kinds of different things. But this one right here, I call her my BFF in ministry. That we were told in college and in training and things that you're really not supposed to have best friends inside your church.
I've heard that before.
Yeah, seriously, because I can't vent to you and offload to you about church matters. But in ministry, a pastor's wife, you gotta have an Ann Reichert in your life. I have to have her by my side in ministry here at the Crestwood Baptist Church. That's what I told you last week. At 734 Sanoa Road, I have got to have her by my side. Everything that goes on around here. We've been serving together, did the math, 24 years. I know. It kind of makes us feel a little old, doesn't it? I'm sorry I brought that up, right? All our gray hairs, right? And we've been serving together for 24 years, and I've been her pastor's wife for 22 of those years. We've been through a lot of things, a lot of stuff, good stuff and not so good stuff. I think we're going to talk about some not so good stuff with the character you're going to be talking about today.
Yes.
But what I love about Ann Reichert, she refuses to leave me. I'm serious, and I've given her lots of different reasons to, but because it's a busy place, there's lots of things that happen around here. But the word I have to come up with is loyalty. Such loyalty. You need a loyal friend in ministry, and that's just going to stick with you. At end of day, whether the day has been amazing or hard, or there's been struggles in the church, you need somebody. When I look up at end of day, she's there. And I am so very thankful for that. Because we've been serving together so long, she kind of knows what I'm thinking. No joke. She kind of knows what I'm thinking, and she knows what needs to happen. And I'll say it again probably next week, but you think you're like 5 steps ahead of me in like everything, and I love it. I don't feel threatened by that at all. I love it. I need somebody to walk ahead of me a little bit, and but she knows what needs to happen. She knows what I want. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, we were right here. We're in this room, and what are we doing?
Choir practice.
Oh yeah, we're practicing music, yes. And her mother she bakes, and cooks. Oh, it's my fave. It's so wonderful, her mother. And but her mother, she makes me these cookies that are my fave. She's puts chocolate on the bottom of them, and they're globes. She usually makes them for me like once a year, sometimes twice a year. And it's almost time for her to make those cookies for me. And she was standing there, we're all talking, and she looks and she's like, I'm fixing to bake
a red velvet cake.
A red velvet cake, yes. She's like, oh, I'm baking a red velvet cake, and it's so good. And I'm like, oh, I love red velvet cakes. It's my favorite. But she was looking at another one of my sweet peeps, one of my sweet ladies, and she's like, I'm going to bring you a piece. It kind of made me feel a way. I'm thinking, wait, I'm like, I'm the one that loves red velvet cake so much. I'm going to fix you a piece. I'm going to bring it for you next Sunday. And I'm just standing there, and I'm like, well, wait a second. She's like, no, I'm baking you cookies with the snap of just that quick. Ann looks at her, and she's like,
she wants both.
I want both. I didn't have to say a word. We busted up laughing. Oh my goodness, it was hilarious. But that's the kind of person she is. And by the way, you made sure that I got a piece of red velvet cake. Oh, it's so good. I know, because I wanted both. And she knew I wanted both. I was just having a hard time
saying.
I was having a hard time getting it out. But no, I'm so excited. Last summer, God put it on my heart to start a monthly ladies' Bible study, and talked to Pastor about it. And I knew I didn't want to do it by myself. And but I needed somebody to help me, kind of tandem teach. And so pastor's like, yeah, ask Miss Reichert to help you with it. I'm like, yes, of course. Why wouldn't I? And so we met at our favorite meeting place, Panera. Yeah, we get all the church business done at Panera,
yeah.
right? And we picked a curriculum, and I'll show you the curriculum next week. And we started in September of 2024, so last September, and the first Monday night of every month. And I wanted her to come and bring some of those lessons. One lesson, we're going to divide it up a little bit, and they're so good. She has such a heart for women to teach them and help them, and they're so good. So I wanted her to join me for the next couple of weeks, several weeks, probably 2, 3, 4 weeks. And we're going to talk about lessons on friendship. And so then, what's our title? Who are we going to discuss first? And then I'm going to end. She's okay with it. We've actually practiced a couple times.
Yep.
Yes, but she knows me very well, so I'm going to be able. She will not lose her train of thought. She will not lose her train of thought. But I have to insert things, right? I'm just going to interrupt you, and I think you're going to be good with that. But I'm so excited for you to hear my BFF in ministry. I have to have her. And let's hear what you have to say about friendship. And the title, what's the title?
All right, today we're going to be talking about miserable friends, Job's consolers.
Miserable friends. Oh, I do not want to be one of those. Definitely not. Oh, definitely not. Okay, so talk to us.
Miserable. Well, first of all, sometimes we are the miserable friend, and then sometimes we're the person who needs to be that is doing the consoling. All right, they were supposed to console Job. So we know if we look in the Bible, if we open up our Bibles to the book of Job, and we go to Job chapter 1 verse 8, and it says, "And the Lord said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil." All right, so we know, we've heard Job all our lives. We've heard this story over and over again, but I want us to think about it a little bit deeper. Think about Job and actually think about everything that he went through. And you think, oh, well, that was just Job in the Bible. But literally people today go through what he's gone through.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so he lost almost everything he had. He was a wealthy man. He lost all of his wealth. He lost his service. He lost his belongings. He lost his family. He lost all of his children in one day. He even lost his wife. I mean, she wasn't dead like his children, but she told him, curse God and die.
Yeah,
so
she lost him like mentally, yes, and emotionally.
Yes,
and,
that
yes,
support was gone because she just like, I'm done. She's like, I can't handle this.
Right.
And I think we do come to that point sometimes when we get to things like, can I handle this, really? So she couldn't handle it. She's like, bye, I'm out. And then he lost his friends. And then on top of that, he lost his health. A lot of times we think, well, I can lose all this, but at least I have my health. You know, I have this one thing, but he didn't have any of that. He lost all of it.
Wow.
All of it in a short period of time.
Yeah.
And I think that if that happened to me, I know I'd be miserable. Sometimes I'm miserable and nothing near that has happened
I
to
know,
me.
just was having a bad day, right?
Yeah, I'm having a bad day.
Right.
And it made me think of, you know, last year, the end of 2024, here in the Southeast, we had tornadoes come through.
The hurricane.
The hurricanes, that's what it
Yes.
was, the hurricane.
Hurricane Helene. Oh my goodness. That was devastating.
Yes, some people did lose everything they had. They lost their houses, they lost family members, and they lost just basically everything.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm not going to say, well, we think, oh, that's not going to happen to me. Well, it could. It happened to those people.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And I think if I had to go through what they went through, or what there's still, some of them are still going through.
Yeah, like they're still suffering.
They're still suffering, still need help. I would be miserable. All right, and then we need to think about it. Like we just read, God said that Job was a perfect and upright man. So that means he didn't do anything wrong. He was living a righteous life.
Yeah.
You know, we try to live our righteous life, and when things come, we think, well, what did I do wrong?
Right.
Sometimes it's not anything that we've done wrong. Job didn't do anything wrong. If you read in chapter 1, you'll see that it said that sons of God, they were meeting, and Satan came and is bragging, oh, I'm looking for somebody, that I can try.
Well, yeah, it was like bragging on him. God
Yeah.
was like bragging on him. Have you considered my servant Job?
He's like, look at Job. And
Yeah.
basically God said, here he is.
Yeah.
Do what you will to him.
Wow.
He said, just don't kill him. Is what he said.
Mhm.
Do what you will. And Satan did everything but kill him.
Yeah.
Everything but kill him.
Mhm.
But we need to remember that because we're children of God,
Mhm.
we're going to have trials. And that's simply because you're a child of God, and
Right.
Satan doesn't want you to be successful.
Mhm.
He doesn't want you to keep walking on and keep doing what we're supposed to do.
Right.
He wants us to be miserable, because when we're miserable, we get around other miserable people. Was it misery loves company?
Yes, it
And
does.
if we get together and we're not doing what God wants us to do.
Yeah.
None of us enjoy enduring hardships or suffering, but we need to think about this and get in this mindset as Christian that God regards these tests as both necessary and valuable.
So tests are necessary and valuable.
Yes.
Wow.
Just like in school, you have to test while you're testing to see what you've learned, if you
Mm.
retain the knowledge you're supposed to learn. We're getting tested. God's testing us. Okay, have I learned this lesson? I've been in my Bible, reading my Bible. I've been going to church, but what am I getting at? Am I getting what I need to out of that?
Wow.
All right?
Yeah.
And there's value in it. We think, well, there can't be value in something that's negative. Well, we have to dig for it and look for it.
Yeah. It's painful.
It's
You're like, what are
painful.
you doing to me? How in the world is there value to this?
There's
Wow.
value, but we have to look for it.
That's good.
We have to look for it. So we have 1 Peter 1:7. If we turn in our Bibles to
Yes.
1 Peter 1:7.
Oh, that's so good. Yes.
Of course, we know this is familiar. That the trial of your faith being much more precious than of gold that perishes. We think about trials, but do we think it's more precious than gold?
No, we don't.
No, the Bible tells us that knowledge and wisdom are more precious than gold. We know that, but trials are precious.
Oh,
All right,
wow. Yeah.
more precious than gold. Though it be tried with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory at the appearing of Jesus Christ. So we're going to go through trials, but when we go through these trials, we need to look and find the value in that and bring that honor and glory to God. So
And that's what Satan hates the most. I think that's why he doesn't want us to see the what do you say? They're
Value.
necessary and valuable.
Yes.
I think that's what Satan doesn't want us to see. He doesn't want us to see that they're necessary and that they're valuable because he doesn't want us to give God the glory in them.
Exactly.
And that's what we're
Exactly.
supposed to do. And he doesn't want that at all, so he fights extra hard with that.
Yeah, he doesn't want
Wow.
us to be closer.
No, he does not.
To see that.
Wow.
So Job's friends, we know there were 4 friends that were there during his trial.
Mhm.
All right, he was a rich man. He had lots of friends, but there were only 4 that stuck around.
Oh.
Everybody else disappeared. And I said those are fair weather friends.
Yeah.
When things get hot, when things get hard, they're gone, just like his wife.
Yeah.
I can't handle this, they're gone.
Mm.
All right. So if we look in Job chapter 2, verse 11, we will see it says, now when Job's 3 friends heard of all this evil that was come upon him, they came everyone from his own place.
Mm.
All right, we got Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamite. For they had made an appointment together to come to mourn with him and to comfort him.
Mm.
So we always hear about Job's friends. They didn't do this, they didn't do that. But one thing they did was show up. They were there.
I love that.
They saw the need.
They showed up. I love that.
They saw his need.
Yeah.
They saw there was a need. They made an appointment. So that means they had to do it on purpose.
Yeah.
And they had to get together. And they came together and they showed up to comfort him.
Well, so many times, and we'll conclude in just a second, but so many times you see someone that's struggling and you're afraid to go to them.
Yes.
You're afraid to go to them. I know we poo-poo Job's friends. We really do. But something that you brought to our attention the other night in this talk was they showed up. They showed up. You know, as a friend, show up. When your friend is hurting and they're going through, for whatever reason, and you're going to talk to us about that next week, for whatever reason they're going through the trial, just show up. And I love that. And yes, they were silent for a while.
They were.
Yeah, and they didn't say a lot for a good while, but then they said a lot that they probably shouldn't have said, but they showed up. And I love that. So our takeaway for this week.
The
just-
takeaway, yes.
Yes.
They showed up.
Show up, yes.
And then find the value in your trial. Sometimes we don't see it until we're through it.
Mm.
But if we remember that, we kind of look as we're going through it, we find a little nugget, and that gives us a little hope and a little
Yeah.
strength to continue. Okay, I found this.
Yeah.
I can get through this.
Right. So find the value in the trial that you're going through. And then if you see your friend going through something, show up. And we join us next week again.
Yes.
Please. We're gonna continue this. This is so good. And but don't forget, for this week, don't forget Lydia at 11 in her journey to remain cancer free. No, go be amazing today.